It is fascinating to uncover different ways of reading a very familiar text. And I propose to do that with you right now. For in this week's Torah portion called Vayera, we come across the text that we know oh so very well about Abraham sitting in the folds of his tent in the middle of the heat of the day, waiting to welcome strangers. However, the Midrash comes up with an alternative approach to this familiar text. Here it is. He's sitting in Mamre. What is Mamre? Well, Mamre is normally thought of as being a name. Belane Mamre, the forests of Mamre. But one interpretation has it that Mamre comes from the word rebellion. So that Abraham, in fact, was sitting in the moment of his rebellion in realization of what he had done against God. Not entirely clear what his sin was, but Abraham is clearly remorseful and looking to God for forgiveness for an oversight or something deliberately done against God, like we all do. Everyone is fallible, and the Torah time and again goes out of its way to point to the fallibility of humankind. We don't have saints in Judaism. We have righteous individuals, but no one is perfect. No one is immune from making mistakes or traveling in the wrong direction, which is why we have ample room for teshuvah, going back on the path where we originally departed from going in the correct direction. So it is with Abraham that he has a rebellion of sorts. And then what he does, he sits in the folds of his tent in the day, and he looks up, and mipetach ha'ohel, which could be interpreted as not just the opening of his tent, but he began to open up his mouth and open up his mind to where he did go wrong, and to begin the process of doing teshuvah, of asking God for forgiveness and going back on the right track. Once he begins to open his mouth, says the Midrash, Abraham then has a vision of three individuals coming toward him. The three individuals, says this Midrash, not angels. The three individuals are himself, Isaac, and Jacob. Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob are what Abraham sees coming to him. He sees, in other words, his future. His future opens up like a book with so many pages yet to be written on, transcribed, because he has done the first step. Opening of the book is the opening up of his heart. That when he opens up his heart to that which he has done wrong, all things become possible. And he sees his future now coming toward him, fully able to embrace that future because he has bared his soul, because he has opened himself up to the possibility of teshuvah. My nafkamina, the Talmud would say. What do we learn from this? What we learn is how we should behave in our life. When we realize we've gone wrong, when somebody's pointed out the error of our ways to us, and we've gotten over the egotistical hurdle of saying, no, you have it wrong, it wasn't me, it wasn't there, it wasn't then. When we've got over that egotistical protection of the self and realize that we have gone wrong, that's when possibility opens up to us like a flower. When we see our future coming towards us with hope for self and for more. Shabbat Shalom.